A story about my son, Linden, and a horse named Flash. Flash is a 8-year-old American quarter horse gelding. He's got a lot of cow horse lines in him. My favorite horse I've ever trained. I bought Flash in 2017. He was an untouched 3-year-old. I was competing at a colt starting challenge. It's called the Chautauqua Colt Starting Challenge. And part of that challenge, they had a couple people come in and do a first ride demonstration. The guy working with Flash, you know, he was a real sensitive colt, you could tell. He flagged him out, got another horse next to him, he threw a saddle on him, and when he cinched him up, Flash went bucking around the round pen, and I loved how he was put together, very much that cow horse style that I like. I could tell he was athletic, had that soft eye, just didn't have any education. And so I ended up buying Flash that day and started working with him, and man, he was exactly what I thought he was. His biggest flaw was that he's super sensitive. Putting other people on him wasn't something I did, just because he was so touchy. This horse, loping him, stopping him, he had the hardest stop I have ever felt on a horse. He was such a natural stopper. He's very, again, athletic, turny. He's exactly what I wanted, but the lingering thought was, is he going to be the family horse? Is he going to make it? About 1 year into riding him, I finally was getting confident enough, and so I put my wife Ella on him. To put my wife on him was a big step. Around that time that I got Flash, that's when I got my Longhorn steer Jasper too. And so they kind of progressed similar, as well as my entertainment side of my career. By the time I had a year or two on Jasper, I was hitting the road, going and performing at fairs and rodeos, and Flash came along as my Liberty horse. He got to the point, and I had him to the point where he would do the exercises, but he really struggled maintaining his composure because of his anxieties with the clapping and the crowds. I have spent more time with this horse than I ever have with another horse in my life. Linden came into our lives when he was 6 years old. And we'd recently bought a pony, and so he took right to that pony, went to riding, and one time we were riding into the mountains, going down the trail, and Ella was leading him off of Katie. And she looks back, sees Linden, looks ahead, and then looks back again, and there's the pony, but no Linden. He kind of just toppled off. From such a green start there, he was so gung-ho, just ready to go. He was so confident, and it was amazing to see. Pretty soon he was loping that pony around, racing people on that pony. Yeah. I started letting him ride Katie a little bit, and he'd say, I want to lope, and I'm like, no, just stay slow, and he's gung-ho. He bounced himself out of the saddle more than once, probably. Whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe not probably. He bounced himself out of the saddle more than once, just because he was so wanting it, pushing so hard. It didn't take long, and he didn't like riding that pony because the pony was too slow. And then he took over on Katie full time, and man, they did great together. Linden started rodeoing, doing goat tie-in, poles, barrels, and was doing really good with her. Someone had left the gate open on a road allowance that went through our pasture, and I found her about a mile away packing a leg. She'd cut her hock pretty bad. I was really worried because Linden had a rodeo coming up, and I was like, well, what are we gonna do? Flash is too sensitive for Linden. Flash is just quick moving, and Linden wasn't always. Linden just, his seat was coming along, but Linden begged me to ride Flash. And so I set things up in a really controlled environment, and Linden got on, and it worked. It worked so good. They just hit the ground running. And since then, now that Katie's healed, Linden doesn't like riding Katie because she's too slow for him. He'll be loping for his goats down the arena and swing a leg out of the saddle and hit the ground and running for the goat, and before, like, on a loping horse, like, that's just crazy to me. Him and Flash really have come together a long ways. I wouldn't have put him on a horse that I didn't trust, and I definitely trust Flash. I wasn't sure if he was gonna be too fast. I don't know how to tell you what's changed, but I know Linden has something to do with it. And I would say he's changed for the better. I'm excited because this horse is turning into that family horse I've always wanted him to be. And I couldn't do that. I've put thousands and thousands of hours into Flash. And Linden, an 8-year-old boy, has done something that I could not do in that thousands of hours. The confidence of a child can do wonders. Horses can read so much. I think horses have really helped develop his character. And just seeing how much growth Linden has had in the last year, 2 years, it's amazing, and I'm proud of it. And last night at ranch roping, Linden actually roped his first steer. Right? Yeah! And you should have seen the smile on his face. What children can do with horses can be amazing. And I think we often underestimate horses and their ability to read. Now, this isn't me condoning you going and putting children on your broncs or even your Greenbroke horses. I think having that foundation firm, even a lot of finishing, is essential. Well, it's rodeo day. Linden's gonna be competing in
barrels, poles, and bolts.
Good time. Go warm up. Practices where you're come back on. Okay, do that 3 or 4 times here.
Situated. All right, heads on over that goat. Gathers things, and the flag comes just before. Now we're ready. Here we come. That boy. On to the river. Now to Mother Earth. Oh, we can. He's going to stop that one for These two work pretty darn good together, by God. Oh, yes. Down for that final pole. Oh, we're bound for the cowboy. There's the Linden. How about a 30 with a 0-2?
I got third place in my rodeo.
What event?
We're going to be shifting gears as we jump from the tiny mice to the juniors. And we appreciate each and every one of them out there.
$32 on this one and $27 on this one.
Keep the holes out.
I dedicate this video to my son Linden. I just want him to know how important he's been and is to me, always will be. And I want him to see the difference that he's made. Lots of adventures left to come. Thanks, buddy.